Afternoon, everybody. Now, in light that we have recently celebrated Easter in this part of the world, it's only appropriate that we discuss the matters of another Easter that took place 102 years ago. And this one was in Ireland. Now, Ireland at that point had been under English rule for pretty much ever since the 12th century. Some would say control, some would say they were actually under the English booty heel during that time for how horribly they had been treated. And they'd been going back and forth for years, and they finally came to around the beginning of the 20th century to where they began discussing how there could begin to be Irish sovereignty in that area. And they went back and forth, and finally, once the war was breaking out in 1914, all talks on it were completely suspended. So it was decided by a group called the Irish Republican Brotherhood and a gentleman by the name of Patrick Pearse that they would stage an armed rebellion in Dublin to try to hopefully to get all the people in Ireland to rise up and violently cast the English from their island. And so what they did is on Easter Sunday, April 24th, 1916, they did just that. They began attacking English positions all over the city of Dublin, and they took the post office and several other areas, but there was a problem. The Irish could not agree on exactly what home rule meant. Nobody came. They pretty much were fighting on their own, and 1,500 men, and by the end of the next day, the English had retaken the entire city. And 15 men, including Pearse, had been executed for crimes against the crown. Now, while the Irish were not in agreement on necessarily what the good way to have home rule be, they were united in a universal hatred of the English. And seeing 15 of their countrymen executed in the name of their national sovereignty helped light a fire in Ireland. Now, what they began doing was in 1918 and 1922, to where in the middle of the 1920s it was finally agreed upon between the British, not the English, and the Irish, that there would be all the counties in Ireland, except the 6 northern ones, would be a separate country, its own independent country of Ireland. The 6 northern counties would stay part of English territory, largely because they were Protestant. There was a big deal whether or not you were Protestant versus Catholic, especially in that part of the world. And so, while there were some in the Irish who were okay with this idea, there were some who were not going to be content until all of Ireland was completely under Irish control, and they began to form what would be known as the Irish Republican Army, until they get everything they needed to completely get the English out of their country. That was the plan. There you go.